Welcome to this back of the net preview of AFC Bournemouth travelling to Saints on Friday night. With me, we got Freddie from the Southampton YouTube channel, The Ugly Inside. Freddie, how are you, mate?
It's back of the garden tonight, isn't it? Back of the garden. It's a bit chilly, the sun's going down. But yeah, not too bad. You know, we've recorded for our preview show. Good fun, lots of comments, and I'm looking forward to the game on Friday.
Yeah, it should be a good one. So if you're not looking in my living room, this is actually the Five Rivers pub in Southampton. Apparently it's going to be welcoming some Bournemouth fans on Friday night, but you may need to keep your sort of coats on over the top. Is that right?
Well, hey, look, it's not going to be as bubble it would be on Tuesday night, but yeah, I mean, if you are wearing colours, it's fine. We're all sort of for it, but I don't suppose too many Bournemouth fans will be going off the beaten track to come down here. But
no,
great beers, great food. Live TV, the Sky Sports cameras, not in the pub, in the ground. There's Sky Sports TV all around the pub. So, come on down if you want to.
Cool. And so, this is my opinion on Saints fans, right? Because obviously it is a derby. Geographically, it's a derby. Rivalry, I know that it's more intense on the Bournemouth side than it is from the Southampton fans. Personally, unlike a number of Bournemouth fans, I've got no major issues with Southampton fans. I've got friends who are Saints fans. I'll always join in with a SCUMMER chant. Always.
Fancy mine, right?
Yeah, well,
did I take it just off the top of your lips?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, well, you did. I mean, you know, Freddie is a SCUMMER, of course. Is that right?
I'm not having that.
No, he's all right. But he is a nice bloke. But it is a one-way rivalry, unfortunately. But hopefully the more competitive Bournemouth get, then maybe it will become a two-way thing. But yeah, we asked the question earlier on, yesterday in fact, on Twitter, some questions that we can pose to a Southampton fan. So this is a chat with a SCUMMER. So I'm going to go straight into it, and you can see these coming on the bottom of the screen right now. So Paul Kenwood said, this is very tongue-in-cheek maybe, you might not like this, as a Liverpool feeder club, Freddie,
my body language already closed.
Which of your current squad would be perhaps the most likely to join Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool next?
That is a popular comment.
Oh, is it?
Of course it is, yeah. As soon as somebody scores two or more goals for Southampton, a lot of comments go, oh yeah, Liverpool in 2 years, £30 million, etc. But what I would say is our standout player at the moment, whilst Redmond has been injured, is Moussa Djenepo. Two fantastic goals, in the last two rounds of fixtures. A great solo goal against Sheffield United, putting the Sheffield defender on his bum on a way to sliding the ball away in the back of the net. Something out of Matt Letizier's DVD collection, his highlights reel, and a fantastic top bin sort of a goal down at the Amex, a few weeks prior. So Djenepo is one to watch. Okay,
now you can answer this quickly. This is a bit of tongue-in-cheek. Again, Paul Kenwood, once again, he does do our fans interviews. Check him out. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love Harry Redknapp? Just, you can say a number.
-10.
-10. What did you make of him winning I'm a Celebrity? Were you cheering, or were you hoping that like Emily Atack was going to win?
From a Southampton point of view, you want him to have the worst Bush Tucker trials as possible, but I kind of bought into his character a little bit. I was sort of brainwashed by his TV personality last winter, in fact. But from what he did to Southampton is unforgivable.
Yeah, not so good. So obviously we use the AFCB hashtag, we use the Saints FC hashtag. Joe Viney came onto our hashtag. Why are Southampton so good? That was one of the questions that we were going to that he wanted us to ask. I'm not going to say that, but I would say what is different this season about Saints compared to last season? What's changed to make you more of a competitive side?
Well, the players are bought into the philosophy. They're finally playing the way that Ralph wants to play, and I think over the last, in fact, 3 weeks that Ralph was actually finally playing his 4-2-2-2 formation. He's been desperate to play it. He's got the personnel now buying into the criteria of his tactics. And we've seen a dramatic improvement. The attitude has changed this season as well. We've had players return back from sort of expulsion from last season. Example, Sofiane Boufal shipped away to Celta Vigo last season, but this year has come back brand new attitude. Cedric again back in the team lineup. So it's the attitude that the players have come back for. They're playing for the manager. They're playing for each other. You know, there's a good feel around the camp at the moment, and Ralph is trying to get the best out of what would have been a bad bunch last season, but we're growing.
Yeah, interesting. And Finley J. Ireland came on and said players to watch out for. Gineppo, obviously Freddie said that as well, so he agrees. Robbie on Twitter, what's it been like over recent seasons to no longer be the top dogs on the South Coast? And what does it feel like to be usurped by such a small and insignificant team such as AFC Bournemouth?
Insignificant team, I mean...
Does it feel weird that the younger brother who used to pound... Okay, I'll ask you this. At half-time, back in the day, Saints fans used to cheer Bournemouth's result if we were winning at half-time. Does that happen now?
Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
And, does it feel weird that we finished above you for a couple of seasons running, or is it not something that's on your radar?
It's on the radar. We still claim the South Coast as ours. Right. Historically, it is. But you have to commend Eddie Howe on the job that he's done. You know, what was it, taking you from sort of Division 2, the third tier of English football, all the way up to Premier League, playing a good brand of football. Welsh has been there. Interesting.
Murky, how do you wake up in the morning? I'm not going to ask Freddie that. I can't do that. And
I
also
wake up on the left side of my bed next to my partner. So wake up. I often sleep on my back in a bed.
Yeah. Is that what you wanted? I'm not sure it was, Murky. Will Partridge said, Bournemouth Southampton is a South Coast derby on a scale of 1 to 10. Does it upset you? Or, I mean, it's not the... I'll admit that it's not the South Coast derby, but when people label it the South Coast or a South Coast derby, does that annoy you somewhat?
Well, the media hype it up, don't they? They try and manipulate. They try and build this imposter of a derby. Geographically, as I say, is a derby, and that's the definition in the dictionary. But it's not a rivalry. It's the rivalry that's not a derby. The derby that's not a derby. Yeah. How upset am I about it? I'm not upset at all.
No. Okay, interesting. Steve Waldridge, I'm going to skip over this, but he said, have you any words of thanks for the people of Syria putting on a benefit gig to help the people of Southampton? He doesn't appreciate that.
Hey, look, Southampton is a multicultural community.
It is.
We are accepting of all faiths and communities.
Yeah, right? There we go. Good answer. Phil Lee, I'm going to skip over. Well, Phil, how much did your club put into the buckets that apparently saved our club? Because the way you lot bang on about it, it's about 1 million, more like a few hundred quid. That's one of my irks, is that Saints fans constantly bang on about you saved our club, etc. And also, like I said on your preview show that's out on YouTube already, link is up there, click it, have a watch of that. It's also the local fans that almost chose Saints as their default team because they're in the top flight. It's quite interesting because I've got friends who are Saints fans who live local, and their kids want to support Bournemouth now. So there's a little bit of family stuff going on there. Very interesting. Phil McGuinness wanted to ask you a bit of a teaser about what was the last league title Southampton won, and were you alive when it happened? Or judging by your youthful looks, or maybe it's just plenty of oil of Ole, I don't know. Can you remember when that was?
Clearly I haven't got the tree lines. And in fact, what did he say there? The last time he won a league title was 1960. Even my old man wasn't born then.
Yeah, well, so there you go, Phil.
Three generations ago.
He does know his stuff. Another question to pose to a Saints fan. Apparently, this is Sean Woodland. Apparently your fans don't care about AFCB, but in recent years Bournemouth have managed to perform better than Southampton in the league. Why is it not a rivalry?
I'll start with the first part of that question. Apparently our fans don't care about AFCB. Well, because our rivalry is Portsmouth. That's what it is, And credit to Eddie Howe. He's done a fantastic job, and we've made mistake after mistake over the last sort of 3 years when Ronald Koeman decided to walk away rather than sign a new contract because the board couldn't guarantee him anything. But since then we've made some almost catastrophic mistakes, such as hiring Claude Puel. We got us to a cup final, got to 8th in the league, but you didn't see the football. No, it's terrible football. side-to-side passing, no attacking intent at all, followed by an equally abysmal, worse manager that almost sent us to the Championship, Maurizio Pellegrino, who had no clue, as some of our fan base call him Mr. Bean. He had no clue whatsoever. And then followed by Mark Hughes, who, let's face it, is a dinosaur. He's past it.
We thought Pellegrino and Hughes were great. We just wanted you to have them for as long as possible.
But Mark Hughes gave us the feel-good factor. 6-7 games at the end of that season, should never have been given a 3-year contract. Yeah, okay. Question to ask Eddie James, why there are so many other clubs. I'm not going to lie, we've had that kind of question before. Again, Rob mentioned about how do you feel it being a local derby, blah blah blah. It's not been mentioned before. I think it might have. Also, how much did you put in the bucket to help us? Because every Southampton fan seems to say that they all did. I don't remember it being that much. We've kind of touched on that as well, Simon as well. But this is an interesting question from James, who submitted a question late last night. Which Saints players do you think could get in the Bournemouth side at the moment? It's quite an interesting question, and vice versa, would be also interesting. But I want to hear your view from your side at least. So I think let's look at Bournemouth's team first. Somebody like Callum Wilson would quite easily walk into the Southampton team. Goal scorer, England international now. When was the last time before Callum Wilson you had an England international from Bournemouth?
Yeah.
Question back to you. Put you on the spot.
And Jermaine Defoe.
Okay, before then.
Jamie Redknapp, I think, might have touched on the periphery. I don't. Well, Lewis Cook's been there and thereabouts as well. However, that's all like fairly at the same time. But Callum Wilson, obviously now, is an England squad regular by the sounds of it.
Indeed, the goal scorer, two goals at the weekend, 2 well-taken goals against Everton. He scored 15 goals last season. I'm going to say around that mark. I don't know the figures off the top of my head, but Callum Wilson could walk into the England could probably walk into the England team alongside Harry Kane. But could walk into the Southampton lineup. And to be honest, I think we've both got the same problem at the back. Both of us are quite liable and exploited quite easily with pace. In fact, we haven't got a leader. You've got Steve Cook, you've got Francis, who've been there since Division 2, League 1 at the time. But how old are they now? 33, 34. So.
Yeah, you may have noticed there that Freddie was swatting away some flies, but you know what flies are attracted to, right? Anyway, I love you really, Freddie. It's fine. Also, it's there's some questions that I've got. However, just want to firstly play a bit from the podcast this week, because Freddie gave us his thoughts on Southampton's season so far, as well as his prediction for the game.
A couple of wins, fantastic win against Sheffield on Saturday. A fantastic all-day round, actually, and Gineppo really becoming the star man at the moment, and he's certainly the one you need to look out for, as Redmond may possibly still be injured for the Friday night game. We're hoping that his target is this game. Perhaps if it isn't, then it definitely be the Tuesday night game at our proper South Coast rivals. So we've got more to look at this year. Last year's game, the 3-3 draw, was fantastic for the neutral, and I think both managers sort of swapped their shape and changed their formation about 2 or 3 times during the course of the match. So we might see a bit of the same again this Friday for the cameras, but we are feeling confident at the moment. Ultimately, it's not a derby. It could be said it is. Well, in fact, it could be a derby, but it's not a rivalry. Let's be honest, chaps. Prediction for the game on Friday then. I think we're building confidence, knocking the ball around quite confidently, get another 3 points on the board, and we can see ourselves at the dizzy heights of double figures after, it'll be 6-7 games. So into the rest of the next few games. Important for us to get another win under our belts.
Okay, so there were Freddie's thoughts, and you can hear them on the latest podcast. If you want to listen, just search Back of the Net Bournemouth on iTunes, Spotify, all those sites, or of course just go to our website afcbpodcast.com. But I've got my own questions to ask you. Obviously, the main rivalry for you is Pompey, right? You've got your match on Tuesday, which is going to be huge. But I want to ask you this. What would be the difference between me walking down Southampton High Street in a Bournemouth shirt and me wearing a Portsmouth shirt. Would I be safe wearing a Bournemouth shirt in Southampton city centre walking through?
I think you would be, to be fair. You're asking for trouble if you're wearing a blue shirt.
Really?
And in fact, you know, the South Coast derby, as it is, the real South Coast derby, brings the worst out of people. You know, you could have the mildest mannered sort of polite sort of person in everyday life, but as soon as they see the blue few down the road, they'll give an F and Jeff and sort of abuse in the street that you wouldn't normally see. But I think you'd be perfectly safe walking around Southampton in a Bournemouth shirt. You'd get some sort of sort of take that off, but you idiot sort of thing.
It wouldn't be
sort of hey you S bastard sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know.
What will it take for our rivalry to intensify?
Crikey.
And can it? Because it's more historical with you in Portsmouth, isn't it? But can it get to a stage where it will never reach those levels? I appreciate you know you're closer geographically to Portsmouth, but do you think, is there any way that, you know, not that I'm trying to manufacture it whatsoever, but how can it happen?
Well, there needs to be some ferocity to the match, don't there? There needs to be crunching tackles on the pitch. You know, it needs to be. I mean, historically, it goes back to. Well, there's some multiple myths that go around about the Southampton Portsmouth derby, but historically we're both sort of dock cities, and we have, you know, families that are within each other, sharing households, for example, or you know, so far away that we can sort of keep them at arm's length. But there's never really been any animosity between Southampton and Bournemouth. There needs to be that to kind of spark a rivalry. The media can manufacture it as much as they can, but it will never be natural. You know.
Okay, interesting. So Friday night, I can't wait for it. It's going to be superb. Going to be there, hopefully doing fan interviews after the game. It depends. It depends on the result, really. If we go and lose 4-0, I just want to get on the train home. But I might be drinking cans of Cosmo G&T on the train back, interviewing people on the platform. Who knows? Really excited about the game. Take us through this side that you think will be playing against Bournemouth on Friday night.
So there's been a few suggestions backstage that some of the natural sort of positioned players are being unfavoured at the moment. So, for example, Jan Valery he was breakthrough star last season. He was right back for the rest of last season and for a few games for the start of this season. But Cedric has returned with a new attitude. He's been in the team lineup against Sheffield United, had a part to play against Brighton as well. I think he might return at right back. And also on the other side of the pitch at left back, Bertrand is now fit. He's in training. Our only left-sided left back in the entire squad. We sold Target, who scored against you last season. Had to drop that in. His only goal for the club. We sold him, so we've got a lack of fullbacks. We've got a lack in depth in that position. But to quickly fire you through, then Angus Gunn in goal, Cedric in right back, with a centre-back two of Bednarek and Vestergaard, with Danso returning after his suspension. That suspension was something straight out of Francis Benali's DVDs. That second one, clumsy, although he didn't send him into orbit. And in fact, I spoke to Stuart Pearce on the way out of the ground, actually. He was commentating for TalkSport. I said, hey, you know, that was something that you would have been proud of, that sort of tackle. He gave me a wry little smile.
Did he?
You know. Anyway, midfield of Romeo Højbjerg, the enforcers in midfield. Højbjerg with the armband, and Romeo has been a mainstay so far this season, important for the team to break up and quickly release the ball to the forward positions. The two sort of wingers, if you like, Boufal and Gineppo. Gineppo is on fire at the moment, scoring two fantastic goals in the last sort of two fixtures. Redmond, I think it would have been his target to be fit for this game, but I'm not sure he'll throw him straight in. But who knows, Ralph? He likes to keep us guessing. He keeps his cards quite close to his chest, and an up front two of Adams and Ings.
Interesting. So I'll take you through the Bournemouth lineup as far as I can see. You can see it on your screen now. I think it's going to be Ramsdale in goal. He's been so solid so far. pulled a number of great saves out of the bag. I think Rico's going to retain his place with Ake and Cook, both at centre back, and then there's the question over the right back: will Adam Smith be fit? It seems like he's 50-50. Might be on the bench. Stacey might get given the nod. If so, it's going to be one of those two. I'm going to go for Stacey. There we go, I said it. Josh King, I think, is going to start out wide again. Very effective there. Obviously made our second goal via a free kick. Fraser on the other side. Harry Wilson, I think's not done enough other than his 2 goals. I think he's going to get dropped. And then 2 in the middle. Lewis Cook, I think, is going to start. And then you've got probably Philip Billing. I think Jefferson Lerma's pretty much in between where Lewis Cook and Philip Billing are, really, as a player, and what a player to bring on. The powerhouse midfield, tough tackler. And then Solanke and Callum Wilson up front. That's what I'm going for. Love to hear what you think. Pop your team predictions and your score predictions in the comments below, because I'd love to hear. And also, Freddie, as much as he is a scummer, subscribe to his channel, link is up there, check the card. And I'm probably not doing much for the rivalry by being all friendly with you and
You're
pally,
manufacturing it just like Sky Sports.
He's a wanker. I don't like him at all. But yeah, enjoy the game, safe travels up, and hopefully we'll all be happy on the train back with the rest of the scummers that are travelling back to their homes in Poole and Bournemouth. Support Bournemouth, for God's sake. Anyway, this has been Back of the Net, and we'll see you on the next video outside St Mary's. Looking forward to it. See you later.
Back of the net! Back of the net!